Hi, I'm Justin McElreath here with the Gilmer County Sports Broadcast. I would like to give a big shout out to the camera, to all the behind-scenes people, Riley Aaron, Connor DeFore, Lucas Watson, Greco DeLine, and Mr. Ferguson. Thank y'all for being behind the scenes. We appreciate it. Hi, I'm Justin McElreath with Gilmer County Sports Broadcast, Episode 3. I'm here with Coach Dowse today. Coach Dowse, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
No problem. I guess you want to jump right into it, we can. Did you plan on being a basketball coach?
It's an interesting question. When I started my career back in 1989, I thought I'd be a football coach. And I actually spent the first 7 years of my career working toward that goal. And then just through circumstance, my principal, I was at a middle school at the time in Gwinnett County, asked if for 1 year I would be willing to coach girls basketball. Grudgingly, I said yes. And since then, that's all I've ever done. I fell in love with it, gave up football, and for the last 23, 4 years, I've been head basketball coach, girls basketball coach.
What was your dream job as a kid? Did you want to be a coach at all, or what did you want to do?
I never thought education would be the path that I took. I thought I'd be an airline pilot. Then I thought I'd be an accountant. And then I was pretty good at math, and I wasn't really ready to give up the athletic career, and so just kind of found my way to education and as the way to get to becoming a coach, and actually enjoyed both of them for a long, long time.
Did anybody influence you to be a coach?
Very much so. My high school football coach, Coach Bill Mack, was a huge influence in my life. He taught me about hard work and about setting goals and about working hard toward things. And he's probably the reason I am a coach now.
How is Gilmer doing so far this year? I know y'all just had a couple of games.
We did. Well, our record sits at 3-4, but I think that's a little bit misleading. We had a terrific summer. We've had a real difficult schedule starting this year. Last night we played very well against Ridgeland, and I think we're getting things headed in the right direction. We're playing very well defensively, and the offense is now beginning to click a little bit. I said early in the year, I think we're going to have a good year. I think we're going to surprise some folks, and I think last night we turned a corner. We're headed in that direction.
That's awesome. Why'd you come to Gilmer?
Again, a very good question. So early on in my career, when I first became a girls basketball coach, I think we were at a camp maybe in Milledgeville. I think it was at GCSU. It was a team camp. And I was with, at the time, one of my metro area teams. I can't remember if I was at Grayson at the time or at maybe at McIntosh in Peachtree City. But I remember playing against some of those North Georgia teams, playing against the White Counties. And I remember specifically playing Gilmer and Fannin and Lumpkin and North Hall. And I thought, one day I'm going to retire to the North Georgia Mountains, and when I do, I'm going to coach one of those girls' basketball teams because I really felt like style of play, I think the value system in North Georgia and the types of kids that I'd be working with really fit my personality and fit my philosophies on the game. And lo and behold, I was at Lumpkin for 6 years, had a great time there, and I probably should have made the decision earlier. I didn't know I'd end up at Gilmer. I knew I'd be in North Georgia, and I'm very happy to be here at Gilmer.
We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
If you want to go over like some of your record and all that.
Well, I guess you've got it here. You've done your due diligence here. So early in my career, I've always been one to embrace the challenge of taking on programs that maybe haven't had a whole lot of success. I did that when I opened. Actually, Grayson was my first head job, and Grayson High School opened in 2000. I took over the program in 2002, but that was the first year that they had a varsity program. And then from there, I went to Peachtree City and took over McIntosh, which hadn't been a very good program. And we turned it around, and we won 25 games a couple of years in a row there. And from there, I went up to Lumpkin. They hadn't had a whole lot of success. And I accepted the challenge, and we flipped that around up there at Lumpkin and ended up winning 2 region championships, went to the Final Four 3 years, and we won a state championship up in Dahlonega. And and so now I'm here. And, I know that girls basketball has a rich history in Gilmer. They haven't had some of the recent success that some of the past teams have had, so that's what we're trying to do. And the challenge for me of being able to bring that back and help these kids have some success is a challenge and one that I embrace.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have anything you would like to say about any certain players that stick out to you?
Yeah, all of them. This is, having started my career as a football coach, I love the sport of football. Honest, if I'm being completely honest, the sport of football is probably my first love, but coaching basketball is from a coaching standpoint my passion. And the reason is that with basketball, unlike football, you coach all aspects of the game. When I coached football, I was a linebackers coach, or I was a quarterbacks coach. When you coach basketball, you coach offense, you coach defense, and you don't just get to know your position group, you get to know your whole team and your whole squad and all the different personalities. And so I enjoy all of them, all of the girls for so many different reasons. And it's taken a while. It takes a while to learn the different personalities, to learn Bree's personality, and to learn Eliza's personality, and Madison's personality, and Jason, Paula, and all of them. But that's part of the fun of it, And then that's when the relationships are made. And I think you and I talked a little bit before this podcast about the differences between coaching girls and coaching boys. Just my 2 cents, but I feel like boys play team sports because they love the sport, for the most part. They love football, they love baseball, they love basketball. I think girls, for the most part, participate in team sports for the camaraderie, for the friendships and the relationships. And if you can tap into those, I think girls can surprise you with what they're able to accomplish. So I enjoy all of them for different reasons. Their personalities are so different.
When you first got here, you made a couple of changes in the locker room, you could say.
We did.
And it looks fantastic. We'll show a picture somewhere on here of it. Any hit on that?
Yeah, I think it's important. So when I got here, obviously, you kind of make the rounds and check equipment, and you're doing an inventory. And we walked into the locker room, and it's a really nice space, but it's just one that hadn't been updated in quite a while. And I firmly believe that if you're going to ask players, teams to pour themselves into something like we're asking these girls to do, I think they deserve a nice facility. And we've got some great facilities here at Gilmer. Our locker room just wasn't one of them at the time. It was a little outdated. And so with the help of our booster club and Dr. Ridley and the school board, we were able to piece together enough funds to make that a reality. And volleyball and basketball chipped in, and now they've got a really nice place. When we, unlike a lot of sports, there are weeks we alternate with the boys where we have a late practice. So practice doesn't even start till 5:30. And we've got some kids that aren't old enough to drive yet. They need a place. And so now they've got a place they can hang out, they can talk, they can do their homework, then watch TV, and just kind of lounge.
Do you have any coaches you would like to point out on your staff or go through?
I've got a great staff. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I wouldn't have. I'm glad. So Coach Travis Sanderson is an assistant varsity coach. We've got Carla Giles is our head JV and assistant varsity coach, and Chris Berry is kind of helping with both. He's helping with the JV and also an assistant varsity coach. And this is the most knowledgeable staff I've had in my 24, 25-year career. They're workers. They love kids. They pour their hearts into the program, and it's really been great. A lot of places I've been, I've enjoyed them, and everybody's got their own role. But this is the first place in a while where I've been able to actually, delegate on the floor coaching responsibilities and feel confident that they're going to be taught and coached not just correctly, but with thought and purpose. And the staff's been awesome. So I'm very grateful to Mr. Coach Johnson, Mr. Johnson, and Coach Standard for helping me put that staff together. And I think the girls are reaping the benefits of that as well.
Yeah, too great. And then you just mentioned right there, Mr. Johnson's our high school athletic director. Coach Stender is our head football coach and county athletic director, if you didn't know that. How's the family part of it been? Like since you started coaching towards now, how does your family like that? Do you have any kids?
My family, yeah. So I do. I'm an old timer. I've got 3 children. My oldest, Kimber, is 30. I'm gonna get this wrong. I think she's 35 now. She lives in Woodstock with her husband and my only grandchild. So I've got a granddaughter, Josie. I have twins, boy-girl twins. They turned 29 this past September. And Taylor, my daughter, lives in Charlotte, and Tyler lives in Boston. So yeah, I have a family there, but I'm an empty nester now. It's just Shelly, my wife, and I, and our dog Maisie at home. But yeah, that's a big part of it. You'd hear this from any coach, but as a coach, you put a lot of time in. But sometimes people forget that's time away from your family too. And so in order to make things work right at home, you've got to have a really special spouse. My wife's awesome. She kept things together when the kids were young. I don't know how she did it, but she did. And she allowed me to do what I really love to do, yeah.
Do you have anything to say before we end the podcast?
Yeah. I think I'd just like to mention the 3 tenets of our program, the 3 cornerstones of our program. Relationships, toughness, and accountability. I think I shared those 3 tenets with all of the families, the parents and the players, even back in the spring when I was named the next head coach. And, on paper, those all sound really good. And then you begin to get into the meat and potatoes of it and what that really entails and what that really means and how that's going to affect the decisions that we make and how practices are run and what roles we each assume and embrace. I've been really, really proud of the girls and the families for accepting the challenges that I'm putting in front of them, but also accepting change. Because I think some of the things I'm asking them to do are things that are different than the way they've been done in the past. And change sounds great until it hits you square in the face, and sometimes it's a little bit more difficult, but our folks have been great about it. And, yeah, so I think it's important that we continue to embrace those 3 tenets, and we talk about them every day at practice. And I think that's going to be what pushes our program forward and what helps our program not just be successful for 1 year, but have some continuity and longevity.
Yeah. Well, we are very glad to have you here at Gilmer, and we're excited to see what you can do, what you and your team and coaches can do. And that's going to wrap it up for this one. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Thank you.